What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nasho, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, the cards in Blazing Vortex just keep on coming, including a new Pot of Greed, basically. I'm not, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and start this video. So the only things that I have for this video are actually three things, or are actually two things. Number one is obviously the new cards that are going to be in Blazing Vortex, but also the other thing is this thing that I wanted to talk about when I did the set reveal for Phantom Rage. It's called Official Card Game Times. This was posted back on the 23rd, so this was posted almost a week ago, and I wanted to do a video on it, but I couldn't because I was like on a strict time limit back then. But this time I am allowed to go through the cards. There's quite a few cards here that I want to talk about, and apparently with this they're talking about like some of the different things. Obviously the remote dual playmats. I guess a dark magician as a prismatic secret, different other playmats for charmers, sacred beasts, and what have you. But I'm mainly after the cards. So obviously, again, so these cards are out of Blazing Vortex, so it's Blazing Vortex galore. So there's a new archetype here called Security Force. This one is called Rappa Chiyomaru, which is a 2-star dark attribute warrior monster with 800 attack and 1000 defense. You can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. So its first effect says your monsters your opponent controls that face Security Force monsters you control can only target monsters in their column for attack. So it's kind of like a monster impermanence where when you activate impermanence, you target a card that you target a monster that your opponent controls, and their effects are negated. And if there's a spell trap in the same column that imperm was activated in, that card cannot be activated. That's what this first effect is about. It's basically that, but instead of targeting spells and traps, you're targeting their monsters, basically. So that's actually a pretty cool effect. I will admit that's actually kind of a cool effect. The second effect is a quick effect. You can banish one Security Force card from your hand, return this card to your hand, and if you do, special summon one Security Force monster from your deck in defense position, except Security Force, except this card. So it's essentially essentially a 1-for-1. It's essentially a 1-for-1. Basically. So, dare I say more? No, I do not. So that's actually kind of cool. So the next one here is Security Force Professor Digamma, I think it's called. 3-star Dark Psychic Effect Monster. Sorry, 1000 attack, 1500 defense. First effect is a once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one face of monster your opponent controls, change its battle position. So it's essentially like a what you call it? It's like a stop defense or a block. Sorry, a block attack. Basically, it's like block attack where you can switch your opponent's monster from attack into defense, which is just broken on its own, actually. And then a second effect says the battle position of opponent's monsters that face Security Force monsters you control cannot be changed except with card effects. So yeah, so again it can be that's pretty much it. I honestly again with these new archetypes I really don't want to like go like give like how can I put it? I really don't want to like say whether or not these cards are good or not, because I know nothing of these new archetypes. I mean, Security Force, when I think of the name Security Force, I think of like security guards, basically, so to speak. I mean, that could be the possibility. But with this second effect, it's basically I guess it's kind of like a final attack orders, where you can't change, where it can't be changed. The battle modes can't be changed, basically. So next up we have Security Force Orifice. 4-star light Cyburst effect, 1800 attack, 1000 defense. Second effect is a once per turn. Your opponent cannot target monsters they control that face Security Force monsters you control with card effects. So again, it's kind of like again, I don't know much about this archetype. If you guys do know, let me know in the comments below. I think it has. I think it's like it's kind of. I guess it's kind of like a revival jam. Maybe, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field as a quick effect, you can banish one Security Force card from your hand and destroy that monster. So again, it's actually kind of like a Dark Bribe, in a way. In a way, it's kind of like a Dark Bribe, but really not a Dark Bribe, if that makes sense. So again, I don't want to like go like too deep with this archetype, just because of the fact that nobody knows how good this archetype really is, and besides, I think these are world premiere cards actually, so no one knows much about them. Next up, we have Security Force Gravitino, 5-star light psychic effect, 2000 attack, 1400 defense. You can only use this card's name first effect once per turn. What the hell is in my knee brace? If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Security Force card from your deck to your hand except Security Force Gravitino. So it's essentially a Stratos. I ain't saying nothing about that except that it's a Stratos. That's what it is. It's a fucking Stratos. Its second effect, banish any monster your opponent controls that faces a Security Force monster you control when it leaves the field. If one of your Security Force monsters is gone when it leaves the field, whether it's like by battle or card effect or whatever, you can banish any monster your opponent controls. Which you can for this one, I'll make an exception. You can target like Borlord Savage, Appaloosa if it has no more negates on her person. You can banish Appaloosa. That's pretty good. So it's kind of like a a bottomless trap hole. All right. Next up, we have Security Force Plat equals Tina. Platina, I guess. 6-star Dark Spellcaster, 2200 attack, 2000 defense. First effect is a once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can target one of your banished Security Force monsters except this card and special summon it. So it's essentially DDR, Different Dimension Reincarnation. You target one of your banished monsters, summon it, you're good. Monsters your opponent controls that face Security Force monsters you control lose 600 attack. Ooh. Is it Forbidden Chalice, I think? It might be Forbidden Chalice that I'm thinking of, because Forbidden Chalice does the same thing. It forces your opponent to lose... It forces your opponent's monster to lose 600 attack, but the difference is that it can't use any of its abilities. I think it's Forbidden Chalice. It's either that or Dress, one or the other. Alright, next up we have Security Force Justify, which is a Link 3 Light Cyber monster. Yes, Link 3, meaning it's a Link monster. 2600 attack, and its links are top left, top right. 3 effect monsters, including a Security Force monster. You cannot summon or set monsters to a zone this card points to. You can only use this card's name's first effect per turn. Once per turn. As a quick effect, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. Then you can move that monster to an opponent's monster zone this card points to. Wow, so it's essentially a reverse... Hang on. Sorry guys, my wrist has still been hurt. My wrist literally has been hurting all week. so I gotta put this on. It's like a brace for your wrist. But anyway, it's essentially like a, what you call it? Hang on. It's essentially like a, what you call it? What's that one card? It's like a it's basically a reverse version of World Legacy Guard Dragon, where you can take one of your dragons and move it into another monster zone that is basically free. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Second effect at the start of the damage step, if this card attacks, you can banish all monsters this card points to. So it's kind of like a topologic bomber dragon, basically, where instead of destroying them and sending them to the graveyard, they get banished. And I believe we are down to a few cards. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we have 5 more cards left. So now we have the field spell for that, which is Security Force Bridgehead. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn, and you can only use its second effect once per turn. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Security Force monster from your deck to your hand. Again, it's basically a Shroud. It's not Shrouds. It's basically basically emergency call, basically, or a Rhoda, basically, which is really broken on its own. Second effect, when an opponent's monster declares an attack on your Security Force monster in the same column, you can activate this effect. That monster you control cannot be destroyed by that battle. So it's essentially a I guess it's kind of like a Yubel, where it can't be destroyed in battle, which is really good. Really good. Honestly, I don't know how these cards are going to be meta. If you guys do know, let me know in the comments below, because I know nothing about this archetype. This is all new shit to me. Next up, we have Security Force Showdown, which is the quick play spell, which is a once per turn. Activate one of these effects. Special summon is 1 Security Force monster from your hand to defense position. Target 1 Security Force monster in your grave, add it to your hand. So with this, it's like it has the effects of a monster reincarnation and a cyber rev system, so to speak. Not saying much about it. Again, I don't want to go too deep with these cards, so yeah. Next up, we have Security Force Specimen, which is one of their normal traps. You can only use one of either of this card's name first or second effects per turn, and only once that turn. If your opponent controls a monster, you can target one of your Security Force monsters that is banished or is in your graveyard. Special summon it to your field so that it faces a monster your opponent controls. So again, this is going within that reverse. With that reverse, what you call it? It's basically going within that reverse card that I basically mentioned earlier on. So that's pretty cool. You can banish this card from your grave, and then target 1 Security Force monster you control, move it to another of your main monsters. So again, World Legacy Guard Dragon. That's what this card is about. Is World Legacy Guard Dragon. Now we have the Link 5. Is that a Link 5? Yes, it is a Link 5. Which is, I believe this is going within the. Is this the last card? No. There's a few. I believe this is going within a different archetype. So we have Saros, Eresh, Kernugias. It's a Link 5 Light Fiend effect Link monster. 3,000 attack. Links are top, right, bottom. And it requires 4 or more effect monsters. If you link summon this card, you can use one monster your opponent controls as link material. Basically, Chimera type Mega Fleet Dragon. If this card is link summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. So it's essentially like a Dark Ruler No More, which, again, it's I think these cards are pretty much self-explanatory, so I really don't want to talk about them a lot. This link summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated card effects that do not target it. Wow. So it's essentially like Borlo Savage and whatnot. So that's pretty cool. Once per turn, when a card or effect is activated that includes special summoning a monster or monsters from the grave as a quick effect, you can negate the activation. So, right there, so if your opponent activates Monster Reborn, boom, it's automatically negated, which, that's just broken on its own. That's just broken on its own. And then the last thing here, we have Live Twin Lila Treat. It's a level 2 Dark Zombie effect monster, 500 attack, 0 defense. You can only special summon one card with the way written in this card's name effect per turn. If you control a Kill monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Wow, so it's like a Cyber Dragon but with a cost. When either player takes damage from a battle involving an evil twin monster, you can banish this card from your grave and target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses attack equal to that battle damage. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so those are the cards that are going to be in Blazing Vortex. These are just the ones from that article. There are several others as well, including a brand new Pot of Greed and a couple of other cards as well that I want to bring up in today's video. Well, that's if, that's it. Okay, there we go. There we go. Alright, so the first one here, let me go back. Let me go back. Alright, there we go. And alright, so we do have some new cards here. We actually have quite a few. So I'm gonna try and just quickly go through these just as quickly as I can. So this one here is called Yellow Gernard Duo Niggas? I don't know how to pronounce that. That is like the weirdest name ever. It kind of sounds like I'm saying the N-word basically. You guys know what I'm talking about. It kind of sounds like it if you really think about it, but I ain't saying it. So yeah, it's a level 3 Water Sea Serpent effect monster with 1500 attack and 1700 defense. You can only use each of all 3 effects once per turn. So its first effect says, if this card is special summon, you can banish cards from the top of your opponent's deck equal to the number of water monsters you currently control. Wow, so this card, if you were running like a dragon deck and you had a card like Vain Betrayer, this card could do a lot of damage. And plus, this is basically like that grass looks greener. If you guys remember those days, dude, those days were nutty. Those days were just stupid crazy. You can target one level 4 or lower water monster you control, increase its level by its original level. So if you have a level 4 monster, its level will go up to 8. So, if you have a 1, it goes to 2. 2 to 3, 3 to 6. You guys know the drill. You can banish this card from your grave. Make one monster you control gain 100 attack for each monster currently banished until the end of the to Woo! Alright, that's actually pretty good. That's a pretty cool card. I would say this would be perfect in the new, in some of the, in like Mermails, basically. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I would say like Mermails, maybe, what's the one? What's that one archetype? What you call it? Marine Cess. Marine says is what I was referring to. Okay, I swear this thing wants to be a piece of shit. No, get... I swear, this laptop is a piece of shit. There we go. Alright, so there are a couple of the cards that I do want to bring up, including a brand new, I guess, Ancient Warrior monster is here as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we do have, so there are 4 more cards that I'm going to be talking about in this video. The last one will be a new pot of greed, which I will be bringing up in just a moment. This one is called Ancient Warriors Rebellious Lu Fang. It's a level 8 Dark Beast Warrior with a special summon effect. 2800 attack, 2200 defense. Cannot be normal summon or set. Must be special summon from your hand by controlling the monsters that has the highest attack among Ancient Warrior monsters on the field. So it's essentially, again, it's essentially like a Cyber Dragon but with a cost. You can only special summon this card once per turn this way. Once per main phase, as a quick effect, you can destroy the one monster your opponent controls that has the highest attack, your choice if tied. You cannot activate monster effects during the turn you activate this effect, except Ancient Warrior monster's effects. That's actually pretty stupid crazy. Once per turn during the end phase, if your opponent controls the monster or monsters on the field that has the highest attack, give control of this card to your opponent. Okay, so it's kind of like a... oh my god, it's like a reverse snatch steal. It's literally like a reverse snatch steal where you take control of one of your opponent's monsters. This card basically you're giving this card to your opponent, which is pretty insane. Okay, this one I know that Cyber Knight is gonna be loving it because we have a new Dragoonity synchro in the format. This one is called Dragoonity Knight Gorm Faber. Gorm Faber, yeah. Okay, I swear, can I, like... Okay, there we go. Alright, it's a level 7 Wind Dragon Synchro with 2600 attack and 2300 defense. Its materials are 1 Dragoonity tuner and a non-tuner. So again, it has to be with Dragoonities. You can only use this card's name first and second effects per turn each. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target 1 Dragoonity monster Dragoonity tuner in your grave, equip it to this card. So it's essentially like Vajrayana, basically, where it has that same effect. Second effect, as a quick effect, you can send one equipped card you control that is equipped to this card to the grave. Then target up to 2 cards in your opponent's graveyard, banish them. It's essentially a double call by the grave. I'm sold. I'm sold. I ain't saying nothing more. That's what it is. It's a double call by the grave with that effect. But of course, too, there is a cost. So you have to send an equipped spell, or rather, an equipped card to your graveyard. So, yeah. Alright, you guys. 2 more cards here that I'll be talking about. This one is called Miradora Skywing of the Whirlwind. That is a big ass mouthful. That is a mouthful. It is a wind. It's a 7-star wind dragon effect. 2000 attack, 2600 defense. You can use each effect among the first and second effects with this card's name only once per turn. And both effects cannot be negated, and their activations cannot be negated. Wow, so you can't even use Solemn Judgment on this card. That's stupid. That is just broken. If your opponent special summons a monster with 2000 or more attack from the extra deck, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's a card. So it's another form of Cyber Dragon with a cost. If this card is special summoned from the hand, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls that was special summoned from the extra deck. That target cannot activate its effects while this card is face-up in a monster zone. So it's essentially like a Vain. It's essentially like a Vain Betrayer, but instead it can still attack. It can still change its battle mode, but it just can't use any of its abilities. That's what this card that effect is like. It's like a Vain Betrayer, so to speak. Alright, you guys. And the last thing. Another pot of greed. Like we need anymore. This one is called Pot of Disparity. That is what it's called. Okay? and the pot the pot itself looks like a pot of riches with a pot of generosity on it. So yeah. So what does this card do? It's a normal spell. You can only activate one card with this name per turn. You cannot draw any cards with card effects during the turn you activate this card. Banish 3 or 6 cards from your extra deck face down. Excavate the same number of cards from the top of your deck. Add one of them to your hand and place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, have any damage your opponent takes. Why? Why would this card be printed? It doesn't make sense. Pot of Extravagance is a little better. Don't get me wrong. Personally, I prefer cards like Pot of Avarice and Jar of Avarice and whatnot, but this card is just stupid. This card, it's not even that good. Because it's essentially a pot, it's basically a pot of duality, basically. That's all it is. That's all it is. That is like the worst pot I'd had ever read. But guys, that is going to do it for this video. Question of the day. Actually, you know what? Question of the day. What are you guys' thoughts on Pot of Disparity? What are you guys' thoughts on it? Let me know in the comments below. And that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel... Whoops. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more videos for more... And you guys love seeing these news videos for WWE and for YuGiOh, definitely hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All the links are down in the description below. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.